What are you on, the tickety-tock days? Get yourself off the tickety-tocks.
Are we a little closer than that?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Ike from Flipside Music, and welcome to What the F.A.Q season finale of 3 seasons.
Yeah, season. The exciting season finale. Season 3, episode 47. So yeah, we only missed 5, right?
Yeah,
5.
That's pretty good for us.
Yeah, we did good.
This year is kaput. I'm here as always.
Dylan.
Yes.
And Ziglet. Mr. Ziggs is down there.
He's down there doing Ziggy things.
Yep.
He's over there licking his cleats, you know. The end of the year, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It felt like it snuck up on it. I still can't even believe it's, the end of 2021, let alone. Right. I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways my head's still in 2020.
2020, yeah. I totally agree.
I mean, I know a lot of people can relate, but for us it has sort of been like, especially...
We've played all the way through, though. We never stopped.
Right, everything ended up being kind of the same, and then there hasn't been... Like, I know people keep trying to say that things have opened back up, but at least around here they have not. Not really. So, like, even shows have been...
There's still some, like, less velocity when it comes to shows and things. I mean, I still haven't gone out much.
No, I mean, I've been out, and, like, in the 2 times I've tried, I've ended up getting, like, the warnings on the app or whatever about potential exposures and shit, so...
A friend of mine just got it, and he's vaccinated and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, I know at least, like, 3 or 4 people right now that have, like, it's kind of... It's ripping through right now.
Been pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, real quick, though, I want to say thank you to everybody for a awesome year. Yeah. We hit our sales goal for this year. We set last year. We thought we thought we could do it, and we worked really hard, and we hit it.
Yeah,
and
we actually blew through 2 years of goals in 1 year. So that was
right.
Good.
It was the goal we were hoping to hit in 2022. So I want to thank you guys because I know there's a bunch of you guys out there that have supported us throughout the year, and we really appreciate it. It's awesome.
Well, a lot of these guys that do watch this have been with us like since the beginning too. So
now Dylan could get his beard surgery.
yeah.
You're like, I just need to fill in this little spot right here, and maybe a little over here.
Well, it's more that like I can't figure out why one side grows faster than the other.
Yeah, you definitely always have that offset.
Yeah, and I still don't know why that is. I'll just blame genetics, I guess. But
yeah, it happens.
Yeah, faulty beard genetics.
Yeah, you don't have the well-rounded.
Although I did have a nice thick mustache because I was noticing the other day this guy came in and I was like I sort of felt bad because like. Instead of like, you could be splotchy anywhere, but he happened to be splotchy on like the mustache area. Yeah. And I was like, at that point, like maybe don't do that. But.
You're like, chia beard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you need, man.
They have a Bob Ross chia pet. That's like the only one I've ever thought about wanting.
Maybe we'll get one in here. We got natural light.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're off the rails on the last one already. We didn't get the shit yet.
In usual form.
Yeah, that's normal. Okay, so weekly question and answer show. You provide us some questions. We give you the answers, and let's start with, oh, shit, that's a long one.
Yeah, Wheaties a long one. I can kind of narrow it down. I read through it a bit. I mean, it's good, but he's got a lot of, extra dialogue.
There's a lot of stuff in there?
Yeah, so I can narrow that one down. Do you want to start with that one? Or?
Why don't we start with the easy one?
Okay. What's the easy one?
Big John.
Oh, yeah, so Big
Merry
John
Christmas,
follow-up.
Big John, by the way.
Follow-up to last week is Mayhem An Instrument, which is a classic Patrick Star quote. I think if you set it to the Wombo setting, it is. So if you're a true SpongeBob fan, obviously you'll get that reference as well.
There you go.
So set to the Wombo setting, it can be an instrument.
And there you go, Big John.
Actually, you would actually like that episode. There's a lot of those that you would probably like, but that particular one when they try to start a marching band, it's pretty great because like none of them have played anything before, and then like it ends with this huge like stadium rock anthem, and like they're convinced that they're like near a nuclear waste plant because like it's for humans instead of fish, and so they think like all the humans are like nuclear, weird fallout creatures. It's pretty. It's a good episode.
I think I would like that.
Yeah.
My sister never let my nephews watch SpongeBob.
No, my aunt was the same way.
So,
but honestly, I think like if I don't know, if you don't have a good sense of humor, like I could see it because like
it wasn't really necessarily a sense of humor. I don't want to get into it, but she just didn't think it was appropriate.
Well, no, people always say weird dumb shit about him
Squidward
being
looked like a dick.
Yeah, people say that or that.
like,
yeah, and it's like I've never understood.
He's a squid.
Well, he's a squid and he has a weird long nose. It's like you don't go around like blocking children's sight from people with long noses because you're like, oh, that guy's got a dick
like
on his face.
Dick.
Yeah.
Okay,
oh,
dick
face.
Yeah. Dick nose. Okay, dick nose.
Yeah.
I was more of a but we could watch the Penguins of Madagascar, which was
they're pretty funny too.
Oh, I love the Penguins.
Yeah, especially
Still, as an adult.
Yeah,
I might enjoy some adult smokable beverages, and
smokable beverages.
I will enjoy myself some Penguins of Madagascar.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I think there's a few episodes of SpongeBob that would fall into that same category because a lot of it they wrote with the idea that parents would end up watching it with the kids, so they made it just as funny for the adults.
Yeah, so the adults could enjoy them.
Yeah, and there's some parts of it, like the one when like Mr. Krabs is having like a midlife crisis, and so he decides he's gonna go like party with SpongeBob and Patrick, and so it's just funny to me because he's like. He keeps expecting it to be this amazing thing, and all they do is go to like a laundromat, and and they're just like looking at these like, oh, the next rinse cycle's on me, guys, and because they just want to watch all the colors spinning, and then they go to like some playhouse, but the whole way through he keeps asking, "Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?" Yeah. It's a great episode.
Maybe I gotta check some. I mean, it's not like I haven't seen them, but not as much as I would have liked. All right, so moving on. Sorry. Ben Coombs asks, thoughts on the Zvex Double Rock? Notes designed for J Mask.
Yeah, I put the note in there just so we both kind of know. Obviously a double rock because you have a box of rock, so we both know that one.
Right. I actually have your
my box of rock. Yeah,
I have.
I love that thing too.
Which is a great pedal.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the Double Rock, so I don't know.
So yeah, essentially what they did instead of doing like the full EQ, because like the normal box of rock has the box of rock and then it has the super hard on boost.
Mm.
The double rock has two boxes of rock that you can either set one to a boost or one to a distortion.
Okay.
And it's basically two of them in one housing. So I have not tried it yet, but if it's as good as the box of rock, it's got to be good because the box of rock's probably one of my favorite, more like JTM 45, like early Marshall kind of sounds. Like that's a great pedal for that.
It's a good. I was messing with it the other day because I was like, I kind of want a Marshall-y vibe and some of the stuff, and that one was like,
I love it because
how good this thing is.
Yeah, and it feels like a good amp. Like it feels like a nice warm amp. It's not that weird brittle, like harsh mid range that some of those like Marshall style pedals can kind of have.
I agree.
I imagine it's got to be good. So
so we're just gonna. We're winging it.
Well, box of rock's good, so by default, I would imagine it's got to be good. I guess Terry's question kind of falls a fairly easy one. He's asking about any of the new wah pedals. Are any of the new wah pedals actually coming out of interest? Like the new Dunlop dual inducer Crybaby, which oddly enough we just sold online like right before filming this.
Right, that was the badass.
Oh yes, yeah, which is the one that has the dual. So it's basically two of the phasal inductors together, and I believe you can like attenuate one of them. So one of them essentially is kind of like always where it's at, like a normal Crybaby, and then the other one you can kind of rig it. Yeah. So
it sounds good on paper.
Yes, and I was gonna say it didn't last long enough for us to really try it, so I can't give you a full on. But I mean, to me, I'm like,
we had two of them. They're both gone.
Right, and I was gonna say any wah to me, like anything that does branch out from just the normal Crybaby, instantly does make it a more usable pet. Because like even like the 535 is a great wah if you want the Crybaby tone, but you want more flexibility. Because like Jake and I over the years, like it's just been the easiest wah to move like from amp to amp to amp. Because like you can, if it's too squawky, you just kind of pull it down a bit. And the normal Crybabys are they're cool, but at this point, like I don't know why anybody really needs a normal one when you could have some of these other options.
Well, I think it really comes down to price.
Well, yes,
because they're inexpensive and they do the thing.
That's true.
And so like.
Well, yes, that's yeah. I mean, they still hit a good spot, and
because I use one.
Well,
not the big one, but the.
Well, yeah, but even the mini though, like even that one is
more capability.
It's leaps and bounds better than just the regular, and even the junior, like the junior's, another one that like hits all the points that pedal board guys want. So, yeah, I mean, I think right now like the junior wah, that one's a great one. Honestly, the 95Q, that one's great.
That's a great sound of wah.
Yeah, like especially if you want one that has like the EQ settings, but you don't want to necessarily have to mash the switch on each time. That one's a fun one because it does that auto return.
Which is a nice function.
Yeah.
Because then that way you.
Well, I think it makes it a little more like some of the Morley ones where you're starting at the low setting rather than the squawk setting. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of fade it in and almost do kind of like bass players do. So
fade your squawk.
Fade your squawk.
You gotta fade your squawk, man.
Yeah.
Sam Squitch.
Sam Squitch.
You gotta fade your Sam Squitches. It's just Sam in a cave. It's going full circle. Okay, sorry.
So we got Colin James and nothing here for some of the shorter ones, and then we got Wheaties mega question.
Okay, so let's go with Cullen James.
Okay.
Because nothing here has 2 questions.
Right. So Colin's question is, what is a piece of musical gear, any kind, aftermarket mods, instruments, amps, etc., that you think didn't get the recognition it deserved? As a whole company, I mean, I think I've probably sort of said this one before in other cases, and I was actually just telling Adam about it this morning, Adam Lamar. But SIB, I think SIB Electronics in terms of pedals or a company, like the Mr. Echo alone, I think doesn't get enough credit, but that whole company made some cool stuff that barely anybody talks about, and even I don't even think Josh Scott's ever brought it up on any of his, and I think they're pretty cool pedals that nobody. They're still sleepers. Even 10 years later, they're still, they're
still good stuff.
Yeah, it's really good stuff that nobody really looks at. I mean, the Echo Drives, the people who do know what those are, they, those go for $600-700 these days. But the regular Mr. Echo, you can still pick those up for $100, and that's the best delay you'll buy for $100, I think.
I agree. It's really good.
Yeah. So that would be the main one. I mean, I think that's just a cool pedal company that I guess is, I don't know. I really love them, but not, it's definitely I've never had a customer come in and be like, hey, do you guys have any SIB electronic stuff? Literally never had a single person come in.
Nobody ever's coming in looking for it specific, unless when we had them.
Well, right, yeah, but even then, I think a big portion of the people that bought them from us were just because we were like, hey, you got to try this.
Yeah, try this.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could, I'm trying to think of something. I don't know what I got.
I was gonna say even another one. I think you'd agree, but Goto hardware. I think that's one that some people who have done work on their instruments, they know that it's a good hardware stuff, company. Yeah. But I would say the general public hardly anybody comes in the shop and is just oh, I love Goto. Do you guys have any Goto hardware? Nobody ever does that.
Just assume that it's inexpensive and junk.
Well, they do, and it's weird because it's you're getting really high quality Japanese, and because usually the steel that they use is actually Japanese steel too. So 9 times out of 10, it's it's better quality than what you'd be getting even from the German stuff. So I think Goto would be a big one, and I'm Colin I know is already kind of on board with Goto, so he knows about that. But not a lot of our general customer base. Nobody comes in and is always praising Goto. But even Nick, our former tech. Yeah, he said number one hardware company for him was Goto. So
I've never had any problems with anything that I've used them on.
No,
I've been using a lot more of the hip shot stuff.
Yeah,
just because we got an account with them. But
you can buy a Tune-O-Matic bridge and put it on any Epiphone Les Paul, or even if you get the US standard one, you can put it on Gibson. That alone, that is a massive upgrade over the cheap shit. Ones that Epiphone uses. So even that is amazing. Yeah.
I don't know that I have anything specifically I could think of right now that just didn't get the recognition it deserved. I'm trying.
Or still doesn't.
You know what? I do. I do have something. I think I brought this up before. Is the Boss Next Tone.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of a sleeper within a very successful line.
The Boss Next Tone amplifiers, I don't think they get enough recognition. I don't think, because everybody loves the katanas. Yes.
Right.
Great. I think I do too. But the Next Tones, and I think it's because Next Tones are more expensive.
Yeah, they're just high enough that people start to consider full-on tube amps.
Right,
yeah.
But they're really good amps. And you could really dial in a lot of cool amp tones with those things.
Right.
I'm 100% on board with those. I think they're great.
Yeah.
Because a few years ago, everybody had them at their booth.
Yes, yeah.
All the pedal companies were playing through Next Tone amps, and people were like, what the hell is this? And it's Boss, Roland.
Well, it was because it was easy
and they sounded killer because they took pedals very well.
Well, and if you had, if your ear was dialed into EL84s or 34s or
you could get them.
B6s, you could just kind of switch that, and it was close enough to do the demonstration.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to use in our new test rooms too, because for the same reason.
Yeah.
Well, I usually play through a Marshall. Here, you just
then just switch it to EL34s and add a little gain, and you're there. Yeah. Yeah, okay. No, that's a good call with that one, because that's a really successful line that in a portion of it that nobody, because even the artist gets a lot of people will go for the artist, and like the next tone is literally just right in between the katana and the artist, and yet we probably sell not even a 10th, not even a 20th maybe of what we would of those other two. So
of the other,
which is kind of weird.
Katanas, which is crazy.
Yeah. All right, so nothing here. It's got 2 questions.
Okay.
Number 1 is, what gear have you picked up for personal use this year and why? And then we'll do the second question in a minute. I'm having a hard time putting everything together, but the Rickenbacker bass.
So much.
Well, no, it's not that.
There's so much.
Well, no, it was more the timing of it, because I want to say it was January or February of this year when I got the Captor, and that would be the of all the things. Like, I obviously love the bass, and I needed a good bass, but the Captor, like, by far, especially doing the videos recently, has been, I would say, my number 1 favorite piece that I've acquired recently. And it's just it's the best thing, especially when you want to, because demoing fuzz pedals on solid state stuff, it just doesn't feel right. And anybody who loves fuzz will know kind of what I'm talking about, but it's just not the same. And so even just being able to plug, that in and record with my normal amp and still do it at manageable volumes with any cab that I want is pretty perfect. So yeah, that one would be my number 1. And the reason I got it was for recording more, especially since, we've all kind of been at home more and we're doing demos more. So I felt like that was one side of things that I wasn't, because MJ had some stuff to do recordings at home, but before the beginning of the year, I really, other than the interface, I didn't really have much to record with. So that was a big one for me anyway.
And that's a good one. I got to get one myself. For me, what did I get this year?
I like your favorite one. Yeah.
Is it the favorite one?
Well, that or
what gear have you picked up for personal?
Well, I mean, I was just saying, there's a lot of I'm sure we could get into.
Well, I can run through quick because I only got a few things. I got that Epiphone Dot with a Bigsby.
Yes, that was
from the early 2013.
Which I didn't get to play that after Sam fixed it, so
it's pretty nice. So it's a Ebony. Basically, it's an Epiphone 355.
Yeah.
So.
One, it's cool because
with the Bigsby and its Pelham blue, it's pretty nice.
One, it's see-through Pelham blue, which I don't know if I've ever seen that. It was cool.
Block inlays. Yeah. So I got that. I also picked up a G&L S500 in Sonic Blue because cool. I couldn't. It sounded great.
Well, yeah, you've been talking about that one since the ASAT, so
yeah. And then I also just picked up an American Strat. And I know it's crazy because it's 2 Strats, 2 Strats and a semi-hollow. Wait a minute, what's going on? Trust me, I got plenty of tellies. But those are the 3 guitars I got this year.
Did I get the Charvel last year or this year?
I think you got that last year.
Yeah, I think it was last year because I'm pretty sure the Captor was the one. Yeah, because I got it at the beginning of this year, and then the bass. I haven't really done. It's weird. I haven't done much in the way of pedals. I mean, the most recent ones would have been the R1 from. Which really was just swapping 2 things out that I already had. But yeah, the R1 from Walrus and then the Volante from Strymon. And it is funny because MJ and I now have the same wet section, but we don't really use it the same way. Well, yeah, it sounds weird. Yeah. But anyway, we do have the same setup for that part of things. But it is funny because we both use it in pretty different ways, but at the same time it's been handy because he picked up his switcher unit when I picked up my Volante, so he was able to help me get through that thing while I helped him get through the Boss switching unit and all that. So a lot of that stuff's been fun. I feel like a lot of my gear purchases recently have been more on the recording or utility side of things.
And I don't think I've gotten much for pedals this year. I got the Boing pedal.
Yeah, and that you were kind of, I don't want to say forced into it, but you sort of did. That needed to just fix something that you
And other than that, I don't think I got any other.
No, I was just saying, I don't think you went heavy on the pedals either this year.
No, it was more guitar stuff, and it's just been busy. So, and I'm not gigging.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's nothing right now driving you to a specific gear.
Otherwise, it'd be like, well, I need this, I need that, I gotta do this. But so that's it. The second part of that question then goes to what gear have you purged from your personal collection this year, and why? So that I can answer too.
Okay, I'm not good at purging, so I just like took all the stuff that used to be on my board and I made a new board.
Yeah, you just did you did a switcheroo.
Yeah, but it's actually been pretty awesome because then now I have like a PA board. So like if I just want to take a pedal board and a guitar, I have that and it's separate from the other shit. So now I can get shit from both groups. Yeah. People that make fun of my like giant amp rig and the people that make fun of digital shit.
You're like, I'll take it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So I got rid of. I had that whole box of pedals.
Yes, yeah, that was a good
earlier in the year.
True,
it was just, I got rid of a bunch. I cleaned a bunch of stuff out of my
bunch of cases too.
Yeah, some closets, some stuff out of my closets. The 2-3 hard cases that I use gig bags.
Right.
So and all the other guitars I have hanging up in the closet. So.
Well, I'm kind of getting to be that way with that, like with that better gig bag I have now. It's easier to just leave the cases at home, use the gig bag for going back and forth, and just because even the one I have, the laptop goes in it, so it's like that one I almost rather would use that than any of my other cases at this point because it's more functional. So
it's just easier to move around.
Well, it is, and it brings more shit. It's like having a backpack and a gig bag all in one, and I don't have to take another piece. So
yeah, one less thing.
Right.
For me, it was just cleaning stuff out. So I got rid of the Dan Electro Corvette that I had because I really wasn't playing it.
Oh yeah.
What was the other guitar? I brought another guitar, didn't I? Or maybe I just had intentions of doing such and I never did. But I had a box of pedals I brought back. It was like a super compressor because no matter what, I can't understand.
Well, it's kind of the antithesis of what you play. So
right, it just doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. It's not that I don't understand. It doesn't work.
Well, yeah, it's not necessary for what you play.
For what I'm doing, yeah. So it was that and a quilter. I had a quilter power amp that just wasn't doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be cooler than it was. But
yeah, me too. Yeah. And then I was like original wah pedal. I brought that.
Oh, yeah.
The big one that I used for forever.
You had like a gunslinger from DOD.
Yeah, I think
the MOSFET,
which is a great pedal too. But it was just like some of the stuff I'm just not using. I need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And it was really just the reason why I got rid of that stuff was just space, because it's just some of it gets to be too much. There's too much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. So moving on, we go to Wheaties Big Question.
So he's got kind of dialogue interspersed with the question. So I'm just going to kind of narrow it down to. Essentially, he's asking of the three guitarists that we'll list here in a second, which ones do we like identify the most with, or which one do we feel like was, an influence on us? So the three that he's having us choose from are John Sykes from Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake. The other one is George Lynch from Dokken and Lynch Mob, and then the final one was Reb Beach from Winger. I gotta say the last one, I don't even know who. Like I know who Winger is, or I know the band Winger.
Right.
But I don't know who he is. So that one I'm gonna have to, I guess, automatically remove from me.
Right. I already know what your pick is anyway.
Well, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, John Sykes is awesome. So.
Right. Well, so Reb Beach is a well accomplished player. Okay. So really killer player. Obviously, so is George Lynch. But I think for me, it would be more.
Well, yeah, John Sykes between the tone he had,
But even the style of play.
Yeah,
I love. Don't get me wrong. I love George Lynch. I was watching some shit yesterday.
Right.
And that was relatively recent, and he's ripping it. I mean, it was killer. So like I said, Reb is a great guitar player too. But I'd have to say more Thin Lizzy style ends up being more. I like the tone.
Well, I always loved because like Thin Lizzy, and all the way up into Whitesnake. Anything John Sykes ever did, even if it was like a nod or reference to something else, he always like dialed everything up just a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And like that was kind of something I always liked with his sound, was like if it had a groove, like he milks it for that. Like, and even the a lot of his riffs have that. It's more of that chug, but the chug kind of gives you that low end bounce that you get to kind of get more of a groove going.
Yeah, to move the song along.
Right.
Yeah.
And and then I would say too, for me, like even though I'm not like massive, it's odd because I'm not like massively into Whitesnake, but he was actually a big reason like I started getting into Mesa Boogies, because between Hetfield from Metallica, Petrucci from Dream Theater, and on the other side of it, like to me, John Sykes proved that you could use a boogie in substitution of a Marshall. And people would be none the wiser, because Like you
Essentially,
because
yeah.
it really just sounds like a super pissed off. Like the way he used it anyway, sounds like a super pissed off modded Marshall essentially. And so to me, like he proved that you could still get those classic rock tones even out of the boogie stuff, and it didn't always have to be like rectifiers and shit. So yeah, I would say for me, like he was more of a tonal influence than maybe a playing influence.
Yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, I mean that's my pick too. So that's what I would go with.
What so Rev Beach, like has he like his winger exclusively yet, or is it something else? Like has he been in something else?
I don't remember.
Cause like my like the biggest
I
memory
wasn't
I
a-
have of Winger is like
so
his
I-
picture on the dartboard in like the old Metallica videos.
Yeah, so I wasn't a big Winger fan.
Right.
Because by the time Winger was, I just wasn't a big Winger fan.
Well, to me, like
But I
Winger's
do
like the
appreciate
Billy Ray Cyrus of that era of that kind of stuff. Like
they
he's-
wrote some catchy
yeah.
shit though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
But you also know that I'm not that nostalgic for
right.
for the era that I grew up in. I am, but I'm not. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you like parts of it.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing though. Like
And
the
I love all the
80s is
shreddy bits,
simultaneously the best music and worst music coexisting at the same time.
Well, it's funny. Like I'll even see some stuff. I think it turned off.
Oh no.
Yeah. We're fixing it. Stay tuned. Oh, get out of the darkness. Be out. Oh, there I'm back. So I saw some video the other day. It was a whole '80s thing. It was a shitty video, but it was a shred guy,
Oh yeah.
and it was just sweepy. And I was just like, holy shit.
You
Yeah,
just heard all the notes. And
I've had enough of it. Though.
Yeah.
I'm like, growing up through that, I already pushed through all that.
Well, see, that's
You know
where
what I mean?
like
And I'm like, I don't necessarily always want. And yeah, very technically amazing. And
well, that's what I was gonna say. The
shreddy as
skill
fuck,
involved.
Yeah,
Like I can't shit on those guys either because
I'm not saying anything about their ability. It's
right.
just
But yeah, like there's nothing to me. There's still nothing moving about any of that anymore. Like I think a lot of the shredding stuff has had its day, but at the same time, like I think some of the dudes now that are like shredding, but like almost like clean shredding, I think that's becoming more of a thing.
well, I think if you see guys that are like chicken picking, or even a lot of even the bluegrass guys.
Well, even kind of the reemergence of a lot of like the psychedelic rock stuff. A lot of those dudes are like on a higher caliber now than they were, but a lot of it is still like you can still really sink your teeth into the real music, not just the shreddy bits.
Right, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Even some of the shred guys, I think there's like
Sort
a
of had
Paul
its
Gilbert.
day.
You know, like a
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Gilbert
Well,
is
yeah,
like
that's
more
true.
of a tasty or
That's true.
shred type player, I think. But just straight shred, I just can't.
Well, I think, like, the-
I instantly I'm like, okay, I've had
Yeah.
enough. Not that it's not cool.
No, but I
It's
think
just
the
like-
era of that is like not over, but I think people now are getting back to like, hey, we would like the other 90% of the song to be the focus instead
Yeah.
of the 10% shreddy bit.
Well,
So-
but that's what happened to the '80s.
right, because
all
like
of a
it was
sudden
just pure exhibition in the 80s.
Yeah, the
yeah.
Seattle stuff started coming in, and it was more song based. It still rocked, but it was more song based, and,
Right, 'cause some of those-
that had
yeah.
groove. It had
Right.
a lot of groove, and that people were just like, I don't have to listen to Warrant sing Cherry Pie anymore.
Right.
Fuck yeah!
Right.
Get me out of here, man.
Well, because that's the whole thing with a lot of the '80s, especially a lot of the '80s metal. Like it arguably is the greatest era of the caliber of players, on top of probably one of the best eras for just tone. But
Yeah,
at the same time, it's one of those things like a lot of it is only special, and a lot of the original stuff is only special because now so much time has gone on that like I feel like all the dudes that have overdone the shredding thing have kind of made it to where like Van Halen now seems tame only because it's like kind of set the precedent for it. So now it's like if you could just have that rather than having to have like the 40 some years that people have been adding to all the because it's really just exhibition shit at that point. It's not like a lot of those solos don't really contribute to the song anymore. It's literally just a moment to be like, hey, here's this circus moment where this guy jumps out and does this crazy thing and then hops back in, and like the rest of the song is just that's it.
We're pissing everybody off.
I know, I'm sure we are.
That's in like their 50s,
Yeah.
late 40s and 50s are all like,
Well, no, I'm not like I said. Like we can't take away anything from their skills. I'm just saying I think music like that era has sort of had its time, and now things are getting more into, because like even these dudes that are more in the jazz scenes, or even like I said, the psychedelic rock, those guys, they shred, but it's a different kind of like tasty shred.
It's a different shred.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, chicken picking is a shred.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. You see some of the dudes even doing the funk stuff. That got a lot of that sweepy stuff. It's just integrating with other things. It's still fast and very cool.
Well, like anybody in any genre now
with
pulls from other ones. So like now, like you could take a technique, and even if it's a metal shred technique, you take out the gain, and all of a sudden it's just it can just be like a noodle inserted somewhere and like a clean pop tune or whatever it's going to be. Like there's a lot more applications now, and I think people, like you said, are just kind of taking genres and like smashing them together,
layering it all up.
Yeah. I'm sure we did piss off all the shredder dudes.
Yeah, Colin's probably like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, JJ's House of Jams, he's probably, fuck you guys. Yeah.
No, I don't think JJ's a shredder guy, though.
Well, I guess I was thinking,
He's more of a metal dude. But
well, I know, but I figured I don't know that era? Okay.
I don't know that it's shreddery. I don't know. I don't know. It's been a while since I heard some of his stuff, but I don't think it's
then maybe his amps are pissed off at us then. Maybe not JJ. his rack of amps is pissed off at us.
But there's a whole crowd that's like, oh, you guys set. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I think Greg even, like he does the all the shred stuff.
But he's realistic about it.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Like he's like keeping that part of it going, but he is realistic at the end of the day. Like the 90% rest of the song ends up being the folk, or should be.
That's what.
Right.
I mean, you're playing rhythm for.
That's the moneymaker.
Yeah, you're playing rhythm for most of the song. You got check out our buddy Greg's YouTube channel if you're still here. Well, I don't know why you would be, but check out Shred Ain't Dead. It's pretty funny. He does goofy shit. It's fun.
He had a Christmas special recently, so.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, we gotta roll. Thanks for tuning in and staying around. If you did stay around this long for the season finale of What the F.A.Q.
Yeah.
We got to come up with a new graphic. We're gonna have a new thing.
Yeah. New wall, new display.
Everything's gonna be changed by Tuesday.
Yeah. Whole world will be different.
Right. Everything's gonna be different. We're gonna change your whole world by Tuesday.
Right.
And all we're gonna do is change the camera one day.
I know.
But yeah, we'll have it. We're gonna set some stuff up. We think we think we got some stuff coming in. So
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next year, and on the flip side.
Yeah. Same bat channel, just different year.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. What he said.
Yeah. Sort of.
All right. Later. Woo! Flip side.